Distinguished colleagues, before we start the second session, I would like to ask our organizers to fulfill a small gap which we still have from the previous session and show a wider presentation of wiry video agencies. A short one, but it's very useful because right now I can see the representatives of media here, especially the people who may be interested in cooperation with wiry. So I guess we can show it. Welcome. So thank you very much for letting us to watch this video. Thank you for Virus for their work which we managed to complete for the short term of their existence, and I want to wish you a fruitful work, and I want now to start the second session. For me it's the main one because it's the session which is dedicated to the practical aspects of work, and as you will see today, the people who are directly involved in the cooperation media field will take their floor today here. So the discussion session, can you hear me? So it's the connection it's either the unification of information field or is segmentation. Now we live in the period during which we either get segmented in the world, and every country lives inside their own small world, and each media landscape inside their own media landscape, or we act as a union of media professionals. And I guess that today event is the beginning of such unity, at least professional. When people ask me about the prospects, how medias will work in the prospect, I always tell that right now the most important thing is not how we work in political sphere, but in professional sphere, including media sphere. And my colleagues, they won't let me tell you any lie. People, representatives of RT, Wiry, we always in contact with our colleagues, professionals from BBC and CNN, but they avoid us because they are not allowed to communicate with us. But we don't worry much because we have an impressive basis of contacts, and we continue to unite with people who would like to cooperate with us. And today I would like to invite our colleagues to discuss several issues. Which trends in the world right now show, in your opinion, either we show either unification or segmentation of information space. The second thing is which trends are relevant right now because of the change in media space, and how do you involve in implementation of these directions of cooperation. And as usual, I guess the people who always tell the same things every time, but practice. It's very important. And the next issue, the next question for our speakers: which practical ideas can you tell us, like studying the modern information space, cooperation in the unity of media professionals and colleagues, some concrete proposals, workshops, trainings, meetings, anything that you can suggest and organize. During the last meeting in May, Maya, she asked that everyone should give a concrete proposal. So Mr. Alyami invited workshops and seminars, and of course several seminars we held the last year, together with the Unity of Information Agencies, roughly vary, but in my opinion, right now we can proceed further and are ready to hear your proposals of the cooperation. First of all, I want to represent you our speakers. First of all, about our time schedule, 5-6 minutes for each speaker. I hope that we'll have this amount of time, so we will have the time for discussion, for participation of the audience directly. So our speakers today: Alina Deri, General Director of IRNE. I name them in the order in my list, so please show yourselves, okay? Ivan Protasena, President Director of Television Republic Indonesia. Maya Manna, Head of RT Arabic. Satar Jihad, he is Nehemiah, Director General of Iraq News Agency INA. Together we have here Mr. Vasily Pushkov, Director on International Cooperation Sputnik News Agency. Pershin, Deputy General Director on Regional Development of Rossiyskaya Gazeta. He is here. And Andrei Aberemak, Director of the Department of International Digital Solutions, Interfax. And as I've already mentioned during the first session, we have a very interesting format, spatial format, and I guess the most interested people here are in the first row, so they will listen carefully and give their own vision of a dialogue which will be held here today. So I'm glad to represent Ms. Irada Zainalova. She's here today, so she managed to get here. It was difficult, but she managed. And of course I want to represent Majed bin Saad Al-Majed, Director General on Administrative and Financial Issues of Saudi Information Agency. Dear colleagues, also I want to mention that Daria Bogdanova should be here. Yes, she's here. So I would like to ask you, because today I already announced the dialogue, I would like to ask you specially to become our speaker. So I guess we start our work quickly in order to manage to listen to everyone here and to have this dialogue. So, distinguished colleagues, I invite the Director General of IRNEA, Ali Nadiri. Welcome, the floor is yours. Hello.
گرامی خانم ها و آقایان، ابتدا از کشور تاتارستان و رئیس جمهور این کشور و خبرگزاری تاتارستان تشکر میکنم بابت دعوتی که از ما داشتند و برگزاری این همایش. ظهور شبکه‌های اجتماعی خبر نیز کاسته است. رسانه‌های کاغذی برای بقای خود از پلتفرم‌های جدید مانند عضویت آنلاین و آگهی آنلاین استفاده می‌کنند. دیگر رسانه‌های سنتی هم روی یوتیوب، واتساپ، اینستاگرام و تیک تاک فعال هستند تا جایگاه خود را به ویژه در میان مخاطبان جوان خویش حفظ کنند. اما این تمام ماجرا نیست. پیشرفت فناوری فرصتی را برای همه به وجود آورده است تا محتواهایی را از طریق تلفن همراه تهیه و منتشر کنند و این محتواها به صورت گسترده، آزادانه و سریع پخش می شوند. اکنون ببینیم این تحول چگونه فضای اطلاع رسانی را تغییر داده است.
Коллеги, у нас какая-то проблема с переводом? Можно, да, решить вопрос с переводом? У нас с переводчиками решите, пожалуйста, проблему. Мне не нужно. Переводчик. Русский не идет перевод.
Distinguished head of the conference, distinguished colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. So the appearance of social networks nearly 20 years ago, actually, so the TV is not as important as it used to be as the main source of information. So, of course, paper, newspapers were not much used. Now mostly online subscriptions, online ads are used. Other traditional media are presented in YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook in order to preserve their place in the world and their audience, but not all of them are presented. But the development of technologies help us to create content from using your mobile phone, and this content is widely spread and in the free form all out the world. So let's see how did it change the information field. In December 2008, Israeli people attacked Gaza and killed lots of people. So a research group of the United Nations during the investigation understood that Israeli army actually intentionally attacked in order to punish and kill civilian people. After that, of course, active demonstrations were held, but quite soon they stopped. But now we can see that these demonstrations in the United States, in Western countries, they are still existing. So we should understand that people from West, from the USA, they wanted to show this news, but unfortunately, these were people who themselves published information on YouTube and other social media, and it was biased information. So the difference here shows to which extent the sources of information changed. It shows us that currently an absolutely trustable news way absent. Right now we can't have a unified, trustworthy information space. So considering the above mentioned, we as professional news agencies should know how different groups learn news. We should be present on the internet and different platforms, but the presence only is not enough. We should know using which platform people from each group get their news. We should know we should know the culture of speech used on every platform. If you just copy and paste and publish some news in Instagram, which you earlier posted on your website, you will lose your audience in Instagram. Because the language on these two platforms, these languages they differ, and the audience is divided into groups, and each group has its own needs. So I would like to propose that professional information agency should cooperate with each other and share their knowledge and experience of publishing news content in different media, social networks, and thank you very much for your attention. So I want to express my gratitude to Mr. Ali for his proposal of cooperation. Indeed, we didn't ask this question without a purpose, because we should understand whether there is segmentation or unification of information space. And if we sum up your speech, I guess we may understand that there is a trend of unification, at least in our hearts, and that's our wish. So I guess we will see which people are for unification or which are for segmentation. I will count it if you allow me. So right now I would like to give the floor to our next speaker. So the speaker visited Russia for the first time, and he told me several stories, because some countries we are not very happy that he is visiting Russian Federation right now, and Indonesia, we are not happy with Indonesia is cooperating with the Russian Federation, but nevertheless the country is represented in our country, in our forum, and it's great. So I want to welcome the Indonesian delegation and to give the floor to the President of Television Republic Indonesia TV channel, Mr. Brotoseno. Welcome.
Our distinguished guests. In our rapidly evolving world, the transformation of the information field is undeniable, reshaping society, economic, and culture at an unprecedented pace. As we navigate this change, is it essential to recognize the key principles and trends that are shaping this transformation, particularly in Muslim countries. First and foremost, connectivity stands as cornerstone of the modern information landscape. With the advent of internet and digital technologies, the world has become more interconnected than ever before. In Muslim countries, this connectivity has facilitated greater access to information, fostering the new opportunities for education, communication, and also the economic growth. However, along with the connectivity comes the challenge of ensuring inclusivity and accessibility for all. While advances in technology have brought about remarkable progress, there remains a digital divide that disproportionately affect marginalized community in Muslim countries and beyond. Bridging this gap is essential to ensure that everyone can benefit from the opportunity afforded by digital age. Another principle that defines the transformation of the information field is the democratization of knowledge. With the online platform and social media, individuals have unprecedented access to information and ability to share their perspective with a global audience. This is empower people in Muslim countries to participate in public sphere, challenge existing narrative, and advocate for change. However, this democratization of knowledge also brings challenge, particularly in the realm misinformation and disinformation. In Muslim countries, as elsewhere, the spread of the false information can have really far-reaching consequences, undermining trust in institutions, fueling social tension, and hindering progress. Combating this phenomenon requires a concerted effort from government, civil society, and technology companies to promote media literacy, fast-checking, and responsible online behavior. Furthermore, the transformation of information field has catalyzed cultural exchange and innovation on a global scale. In Muslim countries, this had led to resurgence of creative expression as an artist, writers, and entrepreneurs leverage digital platform to showcase their talent and to connect with the audience global around the world. This cultural renaissance is not only enriching the diversity of voices of the global conversation, but also challenging stereotype and fostering greater understanding and appreciation of Muslim culture. Ladies and gentlemen, as the largest Muslim country in the world, Indonesia stands at the forefront of the transformation of information field, embodying both the challenge and opportunities of the digital age. Today, I wish to delve into the key principles and trends that are shaping this transformation in Indonesia, a nation rich in culture, diversity, and innovation. First and foremost, connectivity serves as a driving force behind Indonesia's digital evolution. With over 270 million people spread across the thousands of islands, connectivity has been instrumental in bridging geographic divides and fostering greater inclusion. From bustling urban centers to remote rural villages, Indonesia are increasingly accessing the internet and digital technologies, transforming the way they communicate, learn, and conduct business. Another principle that divides Indonesia's digital transformation is the democratization of knowledge, and with the proliferation and social media platform and online content, Indonesia has unparalleled access to information and the ability to share their voice and thought within the world. This has empowered the individual to participate in public discourse, challenge, and advocate the change of scale never seen before. Furthermore, Indonesia's digital transformation has sparked a cultural renaissance as artists, musicians, and content creators leverage online platforms to showcase their talents. TVRI, as Indonesia Public Broadcasting Service, play a crucial role in managing the trends that indicate the unification of the transformation service. Here's some way TVRI can address these trends. Number one, diversification of platform. TVRI can adapt the changing landscape of media consumption by diversifying its platform beyond traditional television broadcasts. This includes expanding its presence on digital platforms such as streaming service, social media, mobile apps, allowing to reach wider audience across different demographics. Secondly, integration of content. With the unification of information services, TVRI can integrate its content across the various platforms to provide a seamless and consistent viewing experience for this audience. This means repurposing content from television program for online distribution and vice versa, ensuring that viewers can access their favorite show and news program regardless of the platform they prefer. Third, audience engagement. TVRI can enhance audience engagement by leveraging interactive features and user-generated content on digital platform. This could include live stream events, hosting online forum discussion, and encouraging viewers to participate in polls and survey to provide feedback on programming. Fourth, tailored content. Understanding the preference and interest of audience is essential for TVRI to remain relevant in digital age. By analyzing data and feedback from viewers across different platforms, TVRI can tailor its contents to meet the diverse needs of its audience, ensuring that it remains a trusted source of information and entertainment. And the last, partnership and collaboration. TVRI also can collaborate with other media organizations, content creators, and technology companies to expand its reach and capabilities. This could involve co-producing programs, sharing resources and expertise, and collaborating on marketing initiatives to promote TVRI's content to broader audience. By embracing these strategies, I think TVRI can effectively manage the trends that indicate that the unification of basically the principle of trend shaping the transformation of information field in the modern world are both empowering and complex. In conclusion, the principle and trend shaping the transformation of information field in Indonesia are both dynamic and multi-phase. As we navigate this evolving landscape, it is essential that we uphold the value of connectivity, inclusivity, knowledge democratization, and cultural exchange. By doing so, we can harness the transformative power of technology to build a more equitable, informed, and interconnected society for all Indonesians. Thank you very much.
Спасибо огромное, мистер Братасена, и спасибо за то, что уже сегодня и буквально несколько минут назад вы начали это сотрудничество.
Thank you, Mr. Batasena, for the beginning of our cooperation today. And of course, we cooperate not only with you, but with the whole range of media. You are ready for cooperation, and you actually cooperate. I saw that you today actually talked with various representatives. I hope that you will continue to cooperate. And for me, it's a great pleasure that Indonesia is here today. For me, I always think that in Kazan Forum, the countries which are far away from us, we see them less on our forum. And for me, the presence of Indonesian delegation, it's a huge present for me. I'm very happy because Indonesia is the largest Muslim country in the world. It's a country with the majority of Muslims in the world, more than in any other country. And we need to know more about each other, to exchange our content as professionals. And first and foremost, for me, for a person who is a university professor, for me it's very interesting to hear about cultural exchange. But we need exchange, the knowledge of our cultures, knowledge about each other. And the day before, on our meeting with speakers, I've told that I will always repeat the phrase from Quran. We created you, men and women, as tribes and peoples, so you can learn each other. And I guess that our meeting has this phrase in the center. It's the principle importance that we as professionals, as people, we try to know more about each other and become richer in this meaning. And this principle, I guess, is greatly implemented in the company in which I'm working, the network of RT TV channels. I guess that cultural diversity is the integral part of our life. We don't even focus our attention on this part because it's just a part. So we need to concentrate on the necessities of audience, and it's the main principle in the work of each channel. So when our foreign colleagues come, we always are surprised that each channel is not translating the content of another channel. They create their own unique content. So several years ago, quite a few years ago, in 2007, when we launched our broadcasting in Arabic language, you know, you can see that I'm quite an old woman, yeah? So this year, when traveling to Arabic countries, I was explaining about what is our channel, RT Arabic. Now, I don't need to name the full name of our channel. They tell me all the time, oh, I know this channel, I watch it, and I'm very grateful to my distinguished colleagues because they made my mission of understanding, of explaining what RT is, very simple. First of all, in Arabic countries, the first person, I guess he is the head of RT here, and the floor is given to my distinguished colleague Naimanna, the head of RT Arabic.
Thank you very much, Anna. It's always easier to start my presentation after some compliments, but I do not agree with the segmentation of the information space, because I think that the unification of the information space was created in the West, and it was visible during the start of the COVID-19 epidemic, because it was forbidden to even mention the vaccine Sputnik, and even the commercial organization like Google and Facebook and so on, they banned any mention of it from their content. And I think that this unification of information space means that you may be just an outsider in this information space. Segmentation doesn't give you the full picture of what is going on in the world. And I think that what's going on now, it's the multipolarity. There are certain centers which attract the people of the same views, and we, for instance, support the traditional values. We work for the benefit of society, and together with the countries who support these ideas, we create this pole. And the more poles we have like that, the more interesting it is for the listener or viewer, because they will have the diversity of opinions, because we need to offer the information mosaics for our listener or reader. And this authority, actually, and the fact that the West used to be dominant in the sphere of information, and there were certain bans on RT, for instance, on what this is the evidence of the fact that this position is not very effective, because, for instance, if you're talking about RT Arabic, we are working for the Arabic world, and we are ahead of all Western channels in our audience, because if you look at BBC, Sky News, and so on and so forth, which Arabic journalists look forward to as the beacons of information. Even Al Jazeera, that's the American channel, they have lost their influence actually, and Al Jazeera is actually an example of a very expensive and very useless project in the Arabic world. But our channel, we have been developing because our content actually is interesting. We have new pages. We continue working under this logo. Now we have Margaret Simanian told us that we have some partners, and they are attracted to our pod. We don't use the RT brand always. We can provide information through our partners, and of course we have like business trips. We talk to Arabic journalists. We talk to students. It's very important to bring them here to show them how Russia lives during the information war, whether we have the unmanned devices or not. They see what is true, what is not, what is happening in our country. So these direct contacts, these direct ties, that's and the fact that there are so many foreign journalists here. Thank you very much. I want to thank each of you for your courage coming to our country at this time. It's very important for us. So I would like to use this space in order to discuss what you expect from Russia. What do you want to receive from the country, which technologically can offer a lot in AI and in other areas, technology, broadcasting, and so on. Putin actually told us that we should share our know-how with the representatives of our countries. So we want to hear from you what we can do for you, and then we'll discuss specific steps in this direction, because an hour ago we signed a memorandum of understanding with the Iraqi news channel. They can use Russian news sources when, for instance, we're talking about the special military operation, because you'll be surprised because the information is usually monopolized by the Western sources. How can Russia does not participate in this, in providing this information? So we need to add this. We need to add Vyry, of course, would play a very important role in forming this pool, information pool. So I think that Russia will play an important role in this multipolar environment. And thank you very much for thinking the same as we. Will be the winners together. Thank you very much, and of course, congratulations on signing the memorandum, because indeed, signing the memorandum or signing of agreements, it's a very important step, and it's a very emotional step, because of course you express your intentions, but you also have expectations of something unusual, and implementing some unusual cooperation, maybe some innovations in cooperation. So I think that it would be really very interesting. So I think that it will be quite right to give now to Mr. Satargiano, the Director General of the Iraqi News Agency, and congratulations on signing this memorandum.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. في البداية أقدم الشكر والتقدير إلى جمهورية روسيا الاتحادية على استضافتي.
At the beginning of my speech, I would like to express my gratitude to the Russian Federation for the invitation to take part in this already 15th forum in Kazan, and I want to thank the Union Information Agencies of OIC, and I would like to speak about the role of Iraqi Information Agency supporting Iraqi vision on international events, both in the region and all over the world. Our agency pays a lot of attention to the problems of Arabic and Islamic regions, primarily the problem of Palestine. We managed to illuminate all the details and report on all the details of what is going on in Gaza, not only for Iraq, but for other Muslim states. We are in close cooperation with the Union of the Information Agencies of OIC. Our participation in 2023 in the Kazan Forum shed some light on our active participation in the project together with Russia, joint projects with Russia, and with our Russian partners. In conclusion, I would like to thank once again the Russian side and the Union of the Information Agencies of OIC for strengthening the cooperation between various media sources, and I wish all the participants in this session development of cooperation between Russia and Islamic world. Thank you very much for your attention. Thank you very much. And I just remembered, when Mr. Sadar was speaking, I just remembered what Maya mentioned. Al-Hora is an U.S. established channel just to provide news about the invasion of Iraq. And it is not accepted in the Arabic world because the Iraqis themselves didn't accept this channel as the source of information. But there was we made several reviews with our students. We surveyed this situation, and there is a very easy explanation, because the contents of Al-Hara, 30-40% is about it's the contents about the internal problems of the U.S. citizens. Fallujah, Basra, they are fed the information about Pittsburgh, New Jersey, or Philadelphia, and I don't think that it's correct. I know that some colleagues work for Al-Hara, but this is a project which is about speaking about themselves beloved, and it's not very efficient. And Satar Jihad, the agents, that was really unique, and it was a really unique management and implementation of this program, because several years ago he became the leader of it, and believe me, in Iraq it's very difficult to carry out any activity, just because living itself is very difficult. When you visit the country, it's very difficult to go somewhere, it's very difficult to speak about something, but Satar did something unique, and I think that we can speak about Al-Hara and Iraqi media. They have different financial means, but they have different efficiency, and they are much more efficient than Al-Hara. Yeah. And I just wanted to ask you for a comment, and I just would like to see and to hear the point of view of our dialogue, which faces the East more than the West. I just want to ask the person who is a writer and international specialist, and who is like East European and has a vision of the East from a different point of view than the West. So I would like him to express his point of view. Deputy Director of the Regional Development of Российская газета, Mr. Pershin. Dear colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, a very interesting and very useful forum. I participate in this forum, but I wanted to say something different. I just wanted to say something about AI and its use in the current mass media, because that really attracts attention, and there are a lot of arguments around it, whether AI will replace journalism or journalists and so on. Actually, it all started in 1956, because John McCarthy first formulated the idea of artificial intelligence, and only about 15 years ago, we started speaking about this subject seriously. After Washington Post, with the help of AI, they processed 13 million files, and they published the Panama records about the political machinations of the officials in Western countries. In China last year, I took part in the 5th International Forum, Guangzhou, Xinhua, that's similar to our TASS agency. All the major information agency took part in it, and there was a really persistent idea there that AI actually may and should be used as the tool in the hands of people, like, for instance, a computer. What does it mean in practical? By the way, Reuters forbids to use the AI technologies when preparing the informations for print. They can only use AI for collection of information, or for compiling reference materials, or for dissemination of content in various mass media. Social media, sorry. So the AI, as a separate player in the information field, currently is not used anywhere, because there was a really vivid example when the chatbot when a chatbot launched, mixing up the years, they launched information about the pending earthquake, major earthquake, and it caused a lot of panic in some countries. There is the legal basis for using AI and neural networks. There are internal regulations or guidance for using AI. Well, we are not, of course, in the front rows in this endeavor, but we are not, do not fail using it, because we have a program of detecting the content which is not really desirable from the point of view of our official government organs. If something is detected like that, then the program checks it against the laws and regulations. Our IT experts now are developing new programs. For instance, it's making the speeches into texts, because there are certain programs and they are not satisfactory, and also the search for pictures or texts at demand, at request, to use in the Rodina magazine. So these articles require a lot of video and text information, and our specialists are hoping that by the St. Petersburg Forum, these two programs will be developed and implemented in the Russian newspaper, Российская газета. Thank you. Yeah, if you allow me, using AI, will it lead to a cooperation with us professionals, or will be sort of in each geopolitical corner individually? I think that using AI will be... I think that using AI will bring the professionals together, those who are doing their job honestly, faithfully, who serve their people, and who serve for the purpose of bringing together peoples of the world. Dear colleagues, this idea of cooperation is something that has been discussed more than anything else in our dialogue, at least in our today's meeting. And in our today's first part of the meeting, we mentioned the brand Sputnik many times, because lately Sputnik has become so really interesting as a media company, but also as the subject of this international cooperation. I think about the agreements which were signed today. We've already heard several times that today there will be another agreement signed at 5 o'clock today, 5 p.m. today. Well, Vadim is the owner of this signature. That's why he will share this information. So the floor is given to the Director for International Cooperation of Sputnik, Vadim Pushkov. Thank you. Dear Madam Moderator, thank you very much for this unification of the information space. I do agree with our RT colleagues, dear colleagues from RT, but we're not trying to do something like the West, because, for instance, if you look at nuclear power, then it can be used for peaceful purposes and military purposes. But the situation is really quite sad, because we are all building the multipolar world. But, you know, we journalists are remembered in this endeavor only as an application. Okay, we are building that multipolar world, and you just write about it. So Anna was quite correct saying that we need to be the owners of this process, because if you look at the very simple case, Agency Sputnik, for instance, we have a representative here of one of the Indonesian, I'm just taking a random company from the Islamic world, Indonesia. which is very far away from Russia. So in Indonesian mass media so far in 2024, they, not a single source, have a full-fledged representation in Moscow. They don't have any correspondence in Moscow. This is a country which is twice as large as Russia, but they don't have representation in Moscow, due to various reasons. But of course, the Indonesian mass media, the audience of Indonesia, they want to understand what's going on in the Russian Federation or around the Russian Federation. They're trying very hard to understand it, and they want to be objective. They want to weigh everything in spite of the tremendous pressure from our Western colleagues, because it's the same as all over the world, not only in Indonesia. So our Indonesian colleagues have been trying to present some weighted picture of the world, and that's why they're using the content, the materials from the Russian mass media. But nevertheless, some journalists come from Indonesia to Russia, and then you see that they're sort of like they're slowly experiences the state of shock. A third eye is open, and they understand that they have not understood anything before that, because you probably remember this feeling when you first came to the country and you thought you knew all about this country, and then when you exited the airport, you realized that you don't know a thing about this country. That's why this is our endeavor. We are trying to broadcast in 32 languages in the world, and we also started our own integration processes with the foreign mass media. We have lots of agreements, tens of agreements, dozens of agreements with the Islamic world countries. We exchange news, information. We've started integrating programs and products each other since we started speaking about Indonesia. The news Antara from Indonesia works already inside the editorial terminal of Sputnik, and we do the same with other information agencies of the Islamic world. But also we launched a special project. It's called Sputnik Pro. In fact, this is an effort to sort of lock journalists in the same room and force them to talk to each other, force them to share their views and opinions. Some people may like it, some may detest it, but actually COVID helped us a lot in this process, because psychologically everyone started working in Zoom, and in the last year we had over 300 sessions of Sputnik Pro, not only with journalists but with universities. And Alina Deri from Tehran was very active in supporting our activity, and everybody said Iran is a close country. No, we had so many discussions with Ernab Information Agency like nobody else. With Tehran University on a permanent basis, future journalists from Iran, we exchange opinion, we exchange our views on life. And Indonesia, the most remote Islamic country, remote from Russia, we have an agreement of cooperation, and on a regular basis we have sessions exchanging opinions, exchanging experience with Indonesian journalists. So slowly but surely we are coming not to automatic transmission of news from Russian sources to Indonesian sources, but we're coming to the understanding, like in Russia, how we see the events in the world, and our journalists understand the Indonesian points of view on world events. And of course, I can't fail to note our favorite colleagues from Association of Information Agencies of the OIC countries, because we have joint expert events, trainings, advanced qualification trainings, and so on. Every time we discover something new for us, because we understand that we are at a different information level. I don't know whether we're going to build a single information space like in the West. No, I don't think that it's hardly possible. But this process of dialogue, and probably it's not direct journalism, it's more like, how can I say it? It's more like people's diplomacy or social diplomacy. It's more than like, yeah, people's diplomacy. Probably it's more like that. But nevertheless, this effect that you can see and this depth of understanding of each other and the correct providing correct information, I think that we just enjoy the results. We're happy with these results. So this is something that we are striving for, and we are for unification.
So, I guess you are a modest person, because in reality we are the pioneers. This trend of interaction with Islamic world in system, it was created in our country by you, and we are very grateful that, as you know, we addressed several years ago to the heads of Russia Today. First of all, we told yes, we are ready, we agree. And now we can see that you don't only held some joint events, but you bring many people to RT from the Middle East, from Islamic world countries, and some of them, I know, we send our CVs to us. They want to work with us. It's very important for us that you share, that you don't divide the field of your work. Don't use it only yourself, but share it with others. And I'm grateful for that. So, my dear colleagues, some small addition. We didn't ask you to give your practical proposals without any purpose, because you know we have an offer to write a document with some concrete proposals. What can we propose in perspective in order to cooperate, interact, meet, etc. Of course, we have a draft of ideas. In the end, I will read it, but if you have any proposals, think about it. I know that our colleagues from Iran have proposals, so the floor will be given to you. You know, I know the next speaker, but only via Sber Analytics. I don't know him in person, but now I know him because he's a cybernetic specialist involved in the work of finance structures. And this person, I learned that he's a specialist in the field of big data in Interfax agency. So, if I'm wrong, correct me, but I will give you a floor. So, Andrei Abiremak, Director of the Department of International Digital Solutions of Interfax. He's one of the leading analysts in this field and cybernetics of our sphere, because thanks to you, I guess we can imagine our life with these technologies only thanks to you, because I can solve all my financial problems via Sberbank thanks to you. Thank you very much, Anna. So we heard lots of great presentations about the news today, and it's good that you tell me what to tell you in the first place, because you know it's very important. I'll tell you some things. Well, last year, me and my colleagues visited Indonesia. Yes, so we visited Jakarta. And also in New Capital we discussed some new technologies, watched lots of interesting films, and we promoted the development of economy, the economic connections between Russia and Indonesia. And unfortunately we couldn't visit Iran, but we really wanted. So here what I wanted to talk about, you know, that we know everything about Indonesia from Moscow, where to go, for example, but Iran for us, it's not a closed country, but it's a country we don't know much about, and the information field, it's not only news, it's knowledge. And I would like to tell you that, you know, in 2000s, we had a single information field in the world. Everything was known. So to receive news, information about companies, counter agents, Amazon, you could buy anything from Amazon. Now there is a huge trend in economy on building new transport ways from north to south, for example, new corridors with Islamic countries. Because I mentioned Indonesia, it's an enormously big Islamic country, and economic relations with Russia, we are not great, you know, we need to increase them, because you know, when a big ship with tons of grain comes, it works, but what's about a private person who can buy something in China and to bring it to Russia? It's not an easy for an individual to transport something from China. As an individual, as a member of small business, I can't learn anything, I can't do anything. And the same, I guess, we may tell about our colleagues from Iran. They don't know much about us, and that's the current state. And of course, all of us want this to build this common unified information field with open data, with open information, to enhance our economy, to attract foreign investments, tourists. When you know which country do you visit, you don't worry much. You may visit this country, go to swim in the sea, for example, etc. And I still hope to visit Iran and to swim, I guess. But here there are some other tendencies, other trends. Discussing information, we also discuss information about individuals, private data, private information of legal entities, about their counter agents, and here we understand that if this information may actually be stolen, the result will be awful. So the state, I guess, there is a trend that state should protect the information of its people, of its entities. It's domestication of data and information. And considering this, we have other trends. Artificial intelligence, for example. You know, people with bad intentions, they can generate fake news using artificial intelligence, looking like real ones, but they are fake. The same is about information about people, companies. So they may write something bad about you, everyone will believe, but it's not true. And you just try and show that it's not like that. So some technical changes are waiting for us, and it's very important what we do right now. The connection. In the framework of connection, we should learn whom to trust and whom not to trust. What we do right now is cooperation. Within this cooperation, we know who are trustworthy partners and who are not. And I guess it will progress many companies, you know, groups in which everyone trusts each other. Artificial intelligence, blockchain, it will be used here because artificial intelligence is used to actually fact check some news, and later I guess we will learn how to how to use smart contracts with information when the receiver may decode it using blockchain and receive their data and verify that it's from a trustworthy source. That everything, for example, there might be a situation that everything is correct, but here is not correct, so it won't pass the control. So, in order to sum up what's actually really interesting. So it's the time when we build all together this unified information space. We still have to build it, to create. It's difficult. It requires technology change, approach change, but I guess that students now they learn what they should do. A mixture of cybernetics, journalism, social science, etc. It will lead to some transformations that AI, the way it looks like today, it's considered as a threat, but I guess in several years it will be vice versa. As in many other directions, artificial intelligence, like data protection, cross-border information transfer, it will work much better, because we can't avoid it. Right now, I asked many participants, our Russian citizens, they will tell you that how, for example, changed interactions of Russia with Muslim countries. They will tell you that we trade more. But what would you like? We would like to visit them more, and I guess that some people will tell, I would like to conduct some business with them. So these demands will be solved using information technologies, information flows, and I want to thank also the organizers of this forum. Kazan, it's a sunny, warm place. It's welcoming, very warm. Thank you very much for your invitation. Andrei, so you mentioned blockchain, and you know I have an analogy here, because first of all it's information basis. Digital blocks, each of them is the same as the previous one, but has with information about the next. Is it correct? You just finish and I will. No, I just want to proceed to another speak in this way. So if you want to tell something, yes. Blockchain, in short, is verification key. People who work with knowledge, I guess you don't need to know it in details. And what's about the principle? Is it correct in my name? Yes, it's quite correct. So, in this situation, with digital blocks, if we take them in this situation, and if we take into account the future and the past, why? Because our next speaker really wanted to be with us today. He bought the ticket, but unfortunately, in the airport, his ticket wasn't identified as a real one. He bought another one, but he will come here this night only. But he's actually presented in our blog and the previous blog, so he will participate in our further meetings. It's director of Tunis Afrique Press, information agency from Tunis. He found the possibility, like the key to verification, to send to us that he wanted to visit us. So I wanted to show you the proof that he wanted to be here. I'm very grateful for the opportunity given to me to participate in Kazan Forum 2024. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I'm grateful for given possibility to take part in Kazan Forum. I will be with you together quite soon, so thank you for this invitation. Our information agency is the biggest in Tunisia, and it wants to develop and strengthen our cooperation with Russian mass media. Kazan Forum this year, it's a very important event of building bridges between Islamic and Arabic world and Russia. Russian Federation constantly enhancing our relations in the atmosphere of common interest. So in recent years, Kazan Forum became the leading platform for discussion of the most important problems in the field of mass media, in particular with information agencies of OIC countries. I really want to see some specific concrete proposals as the results of our discussion, and the principles, cornerstone principles of strengthening the cooperation and interaction between Russia and the Islamic world. This year, in modern world, we face lots of on OIC countries level with lots with such trend, including Russia, of course. There is a global change in mass media, and all of us together need to achieve the equality of the access to information all over the world. Within the framework of our efforts in cooperation with Islamic and not only Islamic countries, including with OIC cooperation. We unite countries with majority of Muslim population. And distinguished ladies and gentlemen, our Tunisian Information Agency is going to strengthen our interactions with Russian mass media, in particular with Sputnik Agency. In 2023, in October, we signed a joint agreement within the framework of our common activities on common work of the Russian Federation in the mass media and of Republic of Tunisia. So, considering BRICS TV, we also saw from part of the Russian Federation a favorable support from a point of view of content spreading, programs, TV programs. So, on my part, I would like to thank Mr. Alemin for his efforts on strengthening the interactions with Russian mass media within the framework of OIC, and I hope that we will strengthen cooperation between the Russian Federation and Tunisia in many fields. Taking part in Kazan Forum in this ancient great city, it's a great chance for this. Thank you very much for your attention. I want to thank Mr. Najiha and tell that in parallel with his flight, he also communicates with us, and his thoughts are generated quite rapidly. And he proposed Tatmedia to sign an agreement of cooperation between you and Tunisia African Press. So I guess we have an example of further dialogue. so I would like to give floor to our next speaker. First of all, in order to see the trends which exist in modern mass space, including Russian mass media space, in institutional plan also. In 2019, we created Dialogue Center, autonomous non-commercial organization Dialogue, all Russian government inter-institutional center in the field of internet cooperation and operate of digital dialogue between people and authorities. So Daria Bogdanova will tell us in details about her work and how can we cooperate with your help on international arena. Good afternoon, dear colleagues. Thank you very much for your presentation. Again, I'm happy to be in Kazan, in the Republic of Tatarstan. Today, I guess the loss of nationalities gathered here on the same field. Russia is a multinational country. You know, at home we have a family joke that regardless the fact that in many Russian families favorite national hero of fairy tales is from Russian fairy tale, but in our family it's from Tatar fairy tale, Shurale, the favorite hero of fairy tales of the children of the Republic of Tatarstan. About your question again, what's about unifying or segmentation of information space? I guess it's very important to unite our efforts when we fight with challenges that we see today in the informational field. And name of our company, Dialogue, it tells you that we actually for the unification of best practices and many ways of giving information to people. The main thing here is, of course, the state. The state is the main brand, the core brand in work in information space. We understood it many years ago. When we saw things that, when for example some things happen, some risks in information field that appear due to many reasons, reputation risks, technogene, disaster, etc., he need to react quickly, the state should react quickly. And we actually have the poll here. So we actually proved the thesis that the majority of people in state, they actually value feedback and interconnection between people and state in general. The state should be presented in the most popular platforms in social media. 62% of people told that quality feedback is very important. By having accounts in social networks and using traditional journalistic methods, it's very important. So also we wanted to see what actually information work of the state in internet is. First of all, the presence of the state in the internet, the presence of sources, it tells us about the openness of authorities of state, that people they have a demand for daily information about the work of the state, from the head of a state to the heads of the most remote rural areas in many countries. And so we asked people about the fact presence in mass media.
And 54 of the respondents said that they would like to see the official platforms of the government authorities, and they want to receive the information from there, especially now with the abundance of fake information. And among others, they wanted to be able to ask questions directly to the authorities. We thought how it can be turned into an effective mechanism, and the Gospublic project was born in this way. We're speaking about the official presence of authorities in social media. There are two tasks in this project. The daily information about the activities of the governments with focus on social important information in response to the questions that people ask every day. Very often these are issues concerning some everyday life or creating the comfort living for citizens. And in sociology, we saw that a lot of people wanted to translate their requests through social media platforms. Speaking about the latest trends, that the most important moment when we really need to start discussing the specific mechanisms of working practices with government is working with fake information. It has been mentioned many times with fantastic presentations. This morning there was a very good session which was devoted to bloggers in various countries, not only fake news but fake people. This is the notion which is going to be developed actively in information space when there are blogs which are not conducted by people but blogs which are conducted by AI on behalf of some artificial people. And here, of course, we probably need some international track where we could combine all the best practices in the world to fight fake information, and we need to speak about how we can better our information with the help of AI. One of the most important moments here, speaking about the latest trends of social media, various formats, we see the overwhelming formats in video, short videos. There are short formats, and videos are the absolute winner in all the sociology surveys when they ask about popular formats of news presentation. And of course we need to involve the representatives of information policies, policy makers of various countries. For instance, in Russia, at the federal level, we have a separate dialogue with the leaders of information policy in the regions. We share what challenges we have. We share the best practices. We speak about the latest best trends in our work. We're speaking about the traditional journalism. And I think that the international track for international press services is not here, where we could learn various best practices. Probably on the basis of Kazan Forum, we'll be able to conduct an intensive workshop where we will review the best practices, the best tactics in fighting fake news, various formats, bloggers, and so on, because it's very important. People are used to read about news, then they look at the public opinion leaders, and we want to have them, like more specifically, we want to review practical cases. We are very grateful for your invitation, and I think that together we'll be able to make some really decent information space, we can share the best moments of our practices, and we'll be able to have a very quality coalition. I have a question, Daria. Well, allow me, please. I want to be bold and ask this question. Don't be offended if, for instance, the Union on Information Agencies and I see. They will be happy to have an online, probably, meeting, and where you can present your experience. That's, for instance, well, I think that probably I can attract, like, ministers of information or something else. Like, I can invite them to our discussion. Would you be able to speak there? Will you be interested in speaking? Yes, we would be happy to join this dialogue. We would show our best practices, and also we would like to have an opportunity to look at our colleagues' best practices. I'm quite sure that the best practices of our colleagues are really would be very helpful. So right now, the database you've been accumulated since 2019. Yes, if we're talking about working with various regions of our country, yes. This practice was born much earlier, but legally we were established as a center in 2019. Yeah, fake news, the practice of fighting fake news and so on. That's a great proposal. Well, that's a great proposal, and probably during our dinner today we can continue. Let's say thank you to Daria. I'm really stunned by our audience, because I remember our poet Dementiev, and he was saying that it's not important who plays the violin, it's important who listens to that violin playing. I really was really astonished by how you reacted, by how you listened attentively, and it's been really hard since 1 o'clock. So right now we have Reda Zainalova as part of the audience. I would like to give floor to her as she sees everything that we're doing here. Yeah, thank you very much for this opportunity, for giving me floor. Thank you very much, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to refer to practically every presentation, especially about blockchain. Your last sentence made everything clear. I wanted to summarize what's been going on here, what I understood from these speeches, presentations, because frankly speaking, what we've been discussing is how to prevent our total stigmatization. Indonesia during Sukarno, about the first president, Iran, Iraq, because they were facing a really powerful information attack, and the same about Palestine and Israel. And RT now is facing this attack because we are actually being torn apart, and because we are trying to present an alternative point of view. So if we roll back, this is the same machine working against us as was working against us during the Cold War. It didn't disappear. It's been working against us, and it's been a step ahead of us. They invented formats of impact. Right now, we are describing how we need to fight this aggression, but we should only we shouldn't only offer this attacks, how to counteract attacks, but we need to prepare human resources, like IT resources, and we can have a corridor from south to north, and we'll have rails, trains running about it, and this is like our information analysis. But then some people will just block this path and our trains will stop. They're beautiful trains, but they will not move forward. We need infrastructure of safety for ourselves, safety and security for ourselves. We need to create a situation, you can name it the Russian Islamic world, global south, and so on. I'm a Muslim. I'm part of the Muslim world, but I'm also a Russian. So we need to stop those forces from transforming us into something subjective. The Anglo-Saxon world has been forming the agenda for all these years. So we need to have our secure agenda, and we shouldn't actually be in a situation when RT was switched off by one press of the button. We may have our own internet, Iraqi or Iranian internet, or Indonesian, and so on. There is half the world that we need to speak to, and we need to build the structure for our information provision. So Iran, we know about Iran from the Anglo-Saxon platform. That's aggressive, that's pretensions, and we need to believe it. When I found myself in Mecca during Hajj, it was in 2003, 2 years from 9/11, and we were saying to each other, that's the religion of peace and quiet. So anti-Islamic image was created, had been created even before 9/11, because, you know, they just need an enemy. They can be united against the enemy. Before it was the Soviet Union, now it's the anti-Islamism. So we don't need to be this or that. We need to be part of the equality process, equal process. And that's why we need to propose an alternative idea and also the means of presenting this idea, something like the West has been doing since 1970s. We are good, we are clever, we are courageous, we have lots of formats, but we need to prepare human resources for that, personnel for that. Thank you. Thank you very much. I really alternative ideas and the ways of its implementation. I think that it should be part of our final document, dear colleagues. I think that we're writing down what we're going to write in the final document, because I would like to see our final document not something declarative. I want it to be practically oriented material. And now I would like to give floor to our Saudi Arabian guest, who is going to speak here in the role of an expert, Majid bin Sada, the director. I'm very happy to be here with you in this beautiful city of Kazan. I'm not so well known, and I've been listening attentively to everything that has been said today. Everything that has been said today is true, it's real. The countries of Islamic world and Russia have been cooperating actively in the atmosphere of mutual responsibility. This is all right, this is all correct, we've been hearing about it. many times. We've been hearing about during various events. It has been discussed many times, but it's not enough. We need to have a systematized work, joint work, application work between us. If we're talking about the private sector, then they are the most creative. They're more creative than the government sector. Such examples can actively influence the implementation of our joint goals in the area of mass media. We can rely on them. For instance, our channel, Al Arabiya, is a brand well known in the whole world. We have Sputnik RT in Saudi Arabia. We receive a lot of information from them. Many things we depend on their opinions, their visions. We rely on them. Thank you very much to the interpreters for their hard work. Thank you very much, Mr. Majek. And I would like to say that indeed it's very important for us that you are present here, because indeed we're very interested, as Raida said, we're very interested in not only looking for an idea, but in joint finding this idea. So we would like to see the involvement of Saudi press. Thank you very much for coming here. Thank you for being with us. And I think that, in fact, we may think about, for instance, MBC or Al Arabiya. We can actually view them as participants of a separate dialogue. Probably in the future, Kazan may help us, or not, but we can say, for instance, Russian and Indonesian dialogue separately, or Saudi Arabia-Russian dialogue, or maybe a round table of sorts. And I think that Mr. Ali Nadari wants to offer some new format, so I'm giving floor to him.
I speak Persian, and the translator translate to the Russian and other language. من چون خیلی صحبت شد در
It's been mentioned, the word cooperation has been mentioned many times. I want to thank Sputnik because they've been cooperating with us for a long time. We have meetings. Our journalists are in touch with each other. They go to Iran, to Russia. So Sputnik visited our country not long ago, and it's a mutual cooperation. So we have an agreement with BRICS. Not long ago, we became the members of BRICS, and we also have good connections, good ties with TASS agency. Last year, the Iranian delegation visited Russia. They visited for a week here, and the representatives of TASS came to Tehran and other cities of Iran. That's why I want to say that we wanted to organize a separate source of Russian news in Iran, and that's why our site in Russian, as the RT director mentioned it, all the news, all the world news, all the right news are shown there. I want to say that our colleague interface, we are ready to create a cooperation, to start cooperation with you, like with other Russian mass media. You can come to Iran. You and your journalists can visit Iran. Right now, a lot of delegations came to Kazan Forum. There are students here. There are representatives of companies, teachers. We came from Iran here to Kazan because we want to strengthen our ties, and also we want to strengthen ties with other colleagues from Islamic countries. That's why I'm saying that our attitude that we had 2 years ago will be a good example. In this space that we're creating, and we need to enhance our cooperation, enhance our ties.
Thank you very much. I like the way Rada structurized everything, how we should proceed. Infrastructure was mentioned several times, and this infrastructure is being built, already being built right now, and we build direct channels of exchange of news when information about Russia finally comes from Russian sources to foreign media. It only right now becomes a new trend, unfortunately, but it's great that we build this infrastructure right now on the level of interpersonal relations, and considering the format directly, dialogue and forum. I want to separately tell to our guests from Egypt, thank you very much, because people from Egypt, they were the first one to hold the first Russian-Egypt media forum the last year, and so I want to tell thanks for all the journalists from Egypt, and thank you for building this infrastructure. You were the pioneers in this field. We don't have much time, unfortunately, but the previous day we already got some formats of discussion, and I want to give floor for a minute or so the chief editor of Asia and Europe section to tell himself the proposals he named the day before. To Veteran Inanlu, the floor is given.
participation. It's a great honor for me to participate in this. But last night we have briefing about different items, and I gave different proposals to our friends about our extension of cooperation between our colleagues. I think that one of the main important thing in this period of time nowadays that we are faces different political challenges is that Russian and Islamic world have to extend their cooperation in these days, for example. Because of that, we are trying to enhance in the different items, for example, in the to share our different cooperation, for example, in the photography item, in multimedia item. And by this means, I think that we should try more than before in this case, in extension our cooperation. And another proposal is that we have to, for example, address different political challenges that nowadays we face on. For example, now we have seen the Gaza war. I think that we should address and we should cooperate in these items to show the reality of the Gaza war nowadays, or the difficulties that Palestinians now face today. And I think that this should oblige us that to work much than before. And in this case, I think that our friend and our colleagues should speak more about these items and should cooperate much more than before. Thank you very much.
Дорогие коллеги,
Distinguished colleagues, so yes, we have an impression that we have been discussing these things for quite a long time, but new topics still emerge, new proposals still emerge. But before we go to the first floor to sign the 3 official agreements, I would like to ask you to listen briefly. I would like to tell you the proposals which came from the Unity of Information Agents UNO, which you in prospect may use as the final document. If you will have any suggestions, please address the coordinator. Each of you has a coordinator personally. If not, Mr. Ildar, may you please stand up? You may come to Mr. Ildar and tell him about these proposals. He'll give you contacts. So the main proposals from UNA. Unfortunately, I won't be very brief because it will be translated. Developing of common actions plan on interaction and prospects with journalists, information between Russia and Islamic world, holding regular media forums and meetings between journalists of Russia and Islamic world. Exchange of news. We have mentioned it briefly, but here we propose to make this exchange as a trend. Create a special venue, digital portal, digital site to implement it. Creating a contact group for implementation of this plan and intensification of media activity and exchange between delegations in Zoom, in online and offline. And there are some other proposals, and let's do the following way. All the proposals we have, we will actually consider them, and the final document will be sent again to our participants, so you will tell us about your ideas. If you have one small short question for 1 minute only, you may be given the floor, or will we sum up? Dear colleagues, first of all, I want to thank you that we had very fruitful and effective work today. You know that today we won't finish our cooperation at this stage, and I guess it was mentioned in many presentations that you are ready in prospects to cooperate, to continue our interaction. Thank you for concrete projects and proposals and wishes to implement them all together. What we are doing, it's, believe me, a historical thing. Before us, before 2021, there was no dialogue at all about media professionals as equal participants of international relations. Media professionals were like application to some events, just cover this event and that's all. So when we intensified our dialogue, I guess we raised the question about professional like value of media people here and about the necessity of dialogue and interaction, cooperation. So thank you very much, because every year you support more and more us in this direction and take part in it actively. So let's go to the first floor to sign the agreement. Ildar, we're near the media center, yes? Near the escalator, right after descending. Thank you very much. Again, thank you.